there. I think we're good there. Okay, folks. So we've got a couple new folks. So as per normal, I'm going to run through the whole briefing for those who are new. Just also let you know I'm recording this one because we need to replace the old rookie briefing that we had up front. So I appreciate you guys all hanging out in the driver's briefing just so that we don't have a lot of background chatter. I will open the floor for questions kind of as we go. And then I've got Richard and Elliot also just keeping eyes on the chat. So if other questions are popping up and I tend to talk a lot, they can stop me and make sure we get those answered. So cool. But welcome to the North American Sim Racing Series. For those of you who don't know, I'm Davin Sturdivant. I'm the owner and head coach here. I appreciate you all showing up. What I like to do for the new folks is give them a little bit of a background about what the league is about, kind of how our ethos is and how we function, a little bit about just like general etiquette and kind of rules running around the Discord just so they're familiar. Then we'll spend a little bit of time talking about tonight's race format and what's going to go on there. And then we'll spend a little bit of time talking about the post-race debrief and the values of attending that. So if you guys have questions, just drop them in the chat while I'm kind of going. And then Richard and Elliot, you can just kind of stop me as important questions come up and we'll take care of them. And then at the end, I'll open the floor for questions.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. So a little bit of background. So we've been around since 2020 and we've been the North American Sim Racing Series since 2022. Our focus here has always been to help people work on their driving. So there are thousands of places you can go to be sweaty and brag about how fast you are. This is not one of those places. We have set up infrastructure for you guys to have free coaching and help. And the idea has really been for the people who are long-standing members here to help people get better at their driving and get better at their racing. So in addition to the races that we traditionally hold, we also will have practice sessions during the week where a lot of the series regulars will get together and give drivers help on their driving and give them guidance on where they can be better. So it's going to be one of those places where like we race hard and we want all the racing to be fun and fair, but no one's going to remember who won the race once we're all finished here. So there's no point to be a bit of a sweaty asshole. In the past, we were an ACC-only league until earlier this year, and then we made the transition over to iRacing and then shut down the ACC league just because of attendance. So what we decided to do was on Mondays run a league around the free tracks and free cars just to open the net as wide as possible. On Wednesdays, we sometimes will have kind of one-off events that are like GT4s or TCRs or something else that other people may have suggested just to add a bit of variety there. But our, I guess I put in quotes, like main race series is going to be the Monday night series, which is designed to just grab as many people as possible, help them with their racing, and then review it afterwards. So you're going to see this a lot is if you're going to try to be here to be a sweaty person, you're not going to have a great time. If you're going to be here to be a relaxed person and help folks work on their driving, you're going to have a great time. You get out here what you put in here. So we run clinics, we have seminars, we have coaches, we have resources for you. We typically will record a lot of things and put them up on our YouTube channel. But it's down to you as the individual to take advantage of those resources and ask for questions and leverage coaching and get help, right? If you don't do any of those things, it'll just feel like any old league. But if you do those things, you find yourself improving a lot faster. So a lot of the folks who tend to do really, really well here are adults. Right? That's the best I can put it, right? It's a group of fun adults that like to help each other get better. If I don't have to parent you, it turns out to be a great place. My only real expectation and the only thing I really ask from a community perspective is keep the outside world outside. So you all are adults and you know better, right? If you feel like it's a thing that would make someone uncomfortable, don't say it. If you feel like it's a thing that is going to make me have to parent you, don't do it, right? We're mostly here to come and talk about racing and talk about driving and just have fun working on that stuff. And so my priority is the community over the individual. I typically will give someone one strike, basically. And then the community is more important than an individual's self-redemption. So if you can't behave yourself, you won't be around very long. Now, that all being said, we've been around for like 6 years, and I've only had to ban like maybe 5 or 6 people. It's not a big number, right? Most people know how to act like adults, so they go somewhere else if they can't, right? So it doesn't need to be a big old serious rain cloud over everything, but I do have to kind of put that out there because some people forget that even though we're on the internet, we're around people, and we need to be adults. So This will be the most negative thing I will say the entire day, but it's important to know because I have a job here to make sure you guys have a fun time and that everybody feels safe, right? So, all right. So, on the more fun side, so most of you probably know me from either Apex Advisory Racing through Instagram or something on YouTube or something else. We also have a great staff of coaches here that supplement that work. And so folks like Larry and Brian, Richard, and Randy are all here to help you with your driving. We have a role in our Discord called NASRS Coaches that you guys can ping whenever you want when you have questions on your driving. That doesn't mean that other people in the Discord won't jump in to provide feedback, but there are some select people who have raised their hands that say, I like to do this a lot and I like to provide a little bit more availability above and beyond what you would expect your average person. So if you find yourself kind of getting stuck in some area with your driving, or you need another set of eyes, or you need some help, or you need an opinion, or you need a battle buddy, or something of that nature, feel free to ping that role. And one of us will figure out a time to get together. If not that, we'll typically set up maybe a open practice session where we'll pull a bunch of people together and say like, hey, 4 or 5 people wanted battle buddies. If we all just did it at the same time, it would be more fun, right? And we'll all get together and kind of do impromptu coaching sessions as things go through, right? But these are people that you should reach out to if you have questions. These are people you should reach out to if you have help. They all have good experience either in grassroots motorsport or sim racing, coaching and helping people for a significant period of time. Folks who's like, I trust their opinions if you ask them a question. And, they are folks that represent the league, like they represent the league well and sort of like the qualities and attributes of what I feel like an ideal person would be. So they do a really great job, and I always want to shout them out every time we talk to these because I couldn't do this work without them. So slow clap for those people. All right. This shouldn't be a problem for most of you in iRacing, but it is a thing I have to bring up every session just because. One of the rules that we have around here is to make sure to update your Discord nickname to either your real name or a real adult alias. First of all, I'm just not going to call you something like Noobmaster69 or something stupid. Second of all, it helps us with our admin when I'm trying to figure out people registered in certain places because I have a real name to go with. And that's it. Right? There are instructions in the top of the Discord from the how to join the NASRS League on how to do it. It only affects this Discord, so it doesn't affect the other ones. So if you want to have a silly name somewhere else, knock yourself out. But if you come in with a dumb name, I'm not going to call you by that dumb name. I'm just going to tell you to change your name until you fix it. So be aware of that. It shouldn't be that hard because everyone in iRacing has a real name that they're using. So that's normally not a thing, but occasionally someone slips through. So also, pro tip, I don't know what your actual real name is. You can use whatever name you feel like makes you feel comfortable. I will use whatever name you ask me to call you by. It just needs to be something that sounds like a real actual name, and then we're fine from there. So if you want to use an alias of some sort because that's what you prefer to be called, I am happy to call you that. But just nothing silly, and we can move on. All right. One of the trends around here that we encourage is you guys knowing how your own game works. So we will often point you to where information exists, especially if it's like in a commonly held place. So if folks ask me like, what race is happening this week, I'm going to point you to event schedules. If folks ask me like what the weather in the race is going to be like, I'm going to point you to the league schedule. If folks ask me what the start, if there's rolling starts or standing starts, right, I'm going to point you back here. There are some things that iRacing doesn't have, like time of day and other weather things that we got spoiled from ACC that we used to have, and those are valid questions to ask because there's not a place where it's written down. And in the background, I'm kind of having conversations about a better way to show weather and weather forecasts for some events, because traditionally what we like to do over the course of the season is that the first 3 races are what I call Goldilocks races, where they're just 25-25 weather, super easy, nice to manage. And then over the course of the season, I will add one variable. So it'll be dark, or it'll rain, or it'll be super hot. And then in any practice sessions that we do throughout the week, they will also reflect those conditions so that you have a chance to get exposed to them before the actual race. Right? But for right now, a lot of that information isn't available. But once it is, I'm going to point you to wherever it lives. So the sooner you get comfortable with reading information and finding out where information is, the sooner you can ask more valuable questions, because a lot of this stuff is pinned places and pointed places, and we'll just point you out to where that stuff lives. All right, so let's talk about the race schedule real quick. So a couple things about this particular season. What we decided to do this time was, in the past, what we've been doing is we've just been following the iRacing rookie schedule, calendar schedule as best we can, and then in places where the tracks didn't line up, we just added another free track to kind of supplement. What we decided to do this time is we split the season in half. Part one of the season is going to be in GR86s. Part two of the season is going to be in MX5s. Every driver who finishes in the top three gets a ticket for a raffle at the end of the season. So the more times you end up on the podium, the more opportunities you get to, like, the bigger your percentage. But that also means that everybody has an opportunity to get something. We wanted to make it that way rather than just having like the person who won the most races just gets a prize at the end, because we all have lives and things like that, so attendance can sometimes be an issue. So we wanted to widen that net up a bit. That doesn't mean that you need to be driving like a sweaty dick, so please be nice to folks. But we did want to give a bigger opportunity for a broader number of people to be able to do things. One important thing about this, if you want to be entered in the raffle, is that you have to make sure you are signed up on the SimGrid to be in the raffle. Okay, you sign up in iRacing to make sure you can enter the races, and that's really great. But you have to sign up on the SimGrid to make sure that you are entered in the raffle so we can track your results. If you do not get your ticket. And I say this every single week. So if we get to the end of the raffle and you did not sign up, I'm going to say I told you so and apologize, and then we're going to move on. Right? So if you have any questions about that, you can either ask me or ask Elliot to make sure you're signed up. But, it's just one of those things that we always just ask you to go to the SimGrid and put your name in the registry, and then once you're in there, then you're signed up. If you finish in the top three, we've got you tracked. So, all right. Another thing about all of this is that all of our league activities, races, events are all driven by your guys' attendance. So the more you guys show up and the more you guys participate, the more events and things we do. We are not in the habit of just making events to register for the sake of and then having nobody show up. We're not really in the, like, we don't really just take events that someone just randomly throws out and tries to turn out a whole thing. The thing that I tell people most of the time is that if you come up with an idea, be willing to be responsible enough to ride that idea all the way to the end. So if you think that just by suggesting something, your solution is going to be Davin, do the work for me, you're going to be disappointed, right? We're happy to do, different classes of car. We're happy to do things on another day of the week as well. But we also have to make sure that there's going to be the attendance to make it work, right? So if someone said like, oh, I want to do a TCR only series or something, I'd be like, well, go find 15 drivers who are willing to do it and get them to pre-register, and I'm happy to set that up, right? Just for an example, right? Also, that being said, that if you guys don't tell us things that you wish you wanted, or provide suggestions or just provide your input, I can't read your mind. So the worst thing you can do is throw a fit and then leave, because I have no idea then why you left. Right? At the very minimum, you could at least give us some feedback of either A, I have a suggestion, B, this is something I wish I saw different, C, I have an idea. And either we will come back with something of the matter of, great idea, we'll throw it in the roster, we've tried something similar and this is what we decided to do instead, or this probably won't happen for whatever rationale reason. Right? But don't expect us to read your minds. We're not making choices just to be jerks. It's just that we're making the best choices based off the information that we have. So you have to communicate with us and us to know how to best help you the best. Right? So, all right. Okay, let's talk about the race format. So traditionally what we end up doing around here is a 20-minute practice, a 10-minute solo qualifying, and a 30-minute race. In the event that this changes, because some races during the season, we will do things like a combined qualifying, or we will do something like a 35-minute race or something else like that, I will tell you during the driver's meeting. So this will be the time to know if there's an additional thing. Also, if you go into the league event setup, you'll see different durations and things like that, and that'll also give you a bit of a heads up. But this is also the time that I'll tell you now if something's coming up. So because this event is largely designed to help folks with their driving and to be more of a relaxed event, we're not going to be doing a lot of in-event stewarding or penalties. Most of the incidents that will come up will be reviewed during the post-race debrief at the end, right? If you guys want to do a more sweaty, competitive, fill-in-the-blank style league with points and all that fun stuff, see slide prior, right? So build up enough a head count, happy to do the thing, right? But this is our way to make sure that we can service a whole bunch of people without it being the super competitive thing, especially if folks are only going to attend one or two events at a time. Like, that's not fair for everybody else doing a whole bunch of work. So we're going to go from there. All right. Race etiquette, just for funsies. So you can sit in any voice channel here that you like to. Just be respectful of the other people that are racing during the event. Please, 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 please Try not to just like randomly run your mouth in the middle of the event if you happen to sit in a public voice channel. It's kind of one of those, right? Like use a little bit of common sense there. If you're going to sit with a large group of people, also realize they are also racing too. So if there's a lot of like, if you're one of those people who just like can't not run your mouth while talking and you say stuff, sit on deaf until the race is over, right? Because I still want to make sure that people are still comfortable and having a great time. But you know, happy for you guys to sit in iRacing Voice. Happy for you guys to sit in Social Channel and hang out. That is what they're designed for. But I don't want to have to come back and parent you in reverse because I wasn't in a chat with somebody. Blah 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 blah. Right? So again, be an adult. You understand how things work here. As far as the race starts for whoever starts on pole, as a reminder, we start the race when the green flag flies, not when the pace car goes in. So I'm expecting whoever's going to start in the front row to keep the field slow until the green flag starts. Please don't play any KZ games where you are dashing away when the pace car starts or anything silly like that. I'm not going to really punish you. I'm just going to be disappointed. So just avoid that and everything's great. Right? So,
right. Halfway out on time.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about a couple of racing rules because these are some of the things that y'all tend to forget once the race gets started. I think the first thing we really need to talk about is overlap and how overlap exists around here. So every league is different, but you need to know how we do it here. So when we talk about right to overlap, our expectation is that you're making your car visible to the car you're passing without them having to do any in-game shenanigans. So they shouldn't have to look behind them using a rear-facing camera. They shouldn't have to take their eyes off the road. You should have enough overlap before a turn starts to earn that right to room as you're entering the turn. So you can't wait for a car to start turning and then dive into it afterwards and try to play an F1 style game of I beat them to the apex. We don't do that here. Okay, you need to be alongside before the turn starts, not after a turn has started. Okay? The only time that doesn't apply is on straightaways. So on straightaways, any overlap is valid because you shouldn't put yourself in a situation where the car trying to pass you has to bail out or avoid a crash because you moved too late, right? If you're ever worried about, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing, ask yourself, am I reacting to what the other guy did, right? If someone's pulling up next to you and then you decide to cut over, that's on you. But if you're positioning yourself before they got next to you, that's on them. Cool. We can skip this because I'll talk about it a lot. We just talked about this, so I can skip that here. Blue flags, super important. I hope people are paying attention. People tend to not listen here, and I really, really hope they do. So I'm going to just add a bit of a pause so you guys are paying attention. For blue flag cars around here, all you need to do is drive predictably and not move. At the end of the day, right? It is the faster car's responsibility to figure out their way around you. The majority of the time, if you think you're getting out of the way, you are actually getting in the way because we cannot read your mind. So I don't know what you are planning to do or when. It's easier if you just stay on the racing line and drive as per normal. And then as the faster car, I get alongside you or figure things out. The two things I expect are, one, don't fight a car on the lead lap in a turn. So if you're in P22 and I'm in P1, we're in different races. And if we get next to each other before a turn starts, don't fight me anymore because that's silly, right? And the other thing I do expect is that if you are going to let a car go by, all you need to do is get out of the throttle like 10%. You don't need to have a big lift out of the throttle. You don't need to jump on the brakes. You don't need to do a little bit of panic. For people who are lapping you, all they need is a little bit of blood in the water, and they'll drive right by. So all you have to do as a car being lapped is roll out of the gas at like the beginning part of a straight. That is all they need because everyone else is already full throttle. They will drive right by you and you just stay where you are. Yeah, you don't need to panic because you're slow already. You don't need to do very much. Like all the other cars are driving around and they're getting to you, right? The expectation is you're still trying to do the best race you can, right? And you still have every right to go as fast as you possibly can and keep up with the guys in front of you, right? So if I happen to catch you like in the middle of two chicanes, I'm not expecting you to jump out of the way right away because I got here. I have to wait for you, right? If we get on a straightaway, it would be nice if you let me go by. But if you're not, I'm going to race you until we get to the turn. And then once I get next to you on the turn, then we're done. Right? So you can alleviate your own stress by strategically lifting and letting cars go by, but I'm not expecting you to do anything drastic or insane to let cars go by because you are doing the best you can already driving. Cool? Cool. All right. In the unlikely event you are spun or hit, please, please, please stay on your brakes and come to a complete stop. We can't predict a car that's rolling out of control. Don't know what's happening. I can avoid a car that's not moving. And no matter what you think you're doing, you're not helping anybody by like spinning out of the way or like trying to do additional work, because we are trying to predict where your car might go and you are doing random stuff. So it is much, much, much easier if you just stay still and everybody else drives around you. As you are re-entering the track, your race is already screwed. So there is no point in doing like a donut in the middle of the track or a 3-point turn in the middle of the track or entering perpendicular to the track. These are race cars, and so they do not have really big steering angles, and so they don't do that sort of stuff. They're not like your road car. So what you want to do is you want to re-enter back into the flow of traffic with the flow of traffic. Make sure you have your relative up so you're paying attention to the cars that are around you so you can find a suitable gap. Keep your head on a swivel so you are looking around for clear and obvious gaps of traffic of a couple of seconds. Your race is already screwed, remember. You are sitting on the side of the road in the grass, so there's really no benefit to try to jump in front of a car that is already coming in at Mach Jesus. All they are going to do is hit you because they didn't know you were going to move and you don't have a way to get easily out of the way. So find a clear and elegant way to blend back into the flow of traffic, and 99% of the time you will be fine.
Good to go.
Cool. All right, so after the race is over, I highly, highly recommend that you guys hang out for the post-race debrief. It's probably one of the most valuable things we do around here. So what we end up doing around here is one thing I would highly recommend you guys go do is when the session starts, or if you're in a test drive mode before the session starts, go into your settings, and I think you type in replay or autosave. It's one of the others. And you can prompt iRacing to autosave your replay upon session close. That will make sure that you have a replay to work with. What we do is we have a lot of the coaches come in after the race, and we will also have someone be a secretary. Typically it's myself, and you will send us a car number, a replay timestamp, and a corner that you want reviewed so we can talk about where to improve your driving. And I really emphasize that point because typically there's a couple things. One, we typically have a long list of incidents to go through. So I don't really have a lot of time and patience for like, look what this stupid shit this guy did to me, right? These should only be, how do I improve the situation? How do I read the situation better? How do I make myself a better driver, right? We're not trying to make fun of you. We're here to help you, right? We might rip you a little bit if something's a little silly, but we do it all in fun and jest, right? We're not trying to make you feel like crap. But I don't have a lot of patience for like, look at this stupid crap, because the internet's full of stupid crap. You can just put that on Reddit and I will find it out later, right? So I need to be able to get through all of the things that we're going through. The other thing that kind of goes on too is I need to make sure you guys aren't just like jumping in and randomly talking. What we would traditionally do is like, I will ask the driver typically involved to walk us through their thought process. Typically myself and one of the other coaches will provide some guidance of something that he can look into first, and then we will open the floor up for questions. So I definitely want to hear what you have to say, but not if you randomly start shouting, because if you do that, I'm going to get mad at you and then we'll stop. So let's not do that, right? Also, you don't know how many more are in order, and so if you randomly call one out, I'm going to skip you because that's rude, right? So we'll just put you in order and work your way through, and I will poke you in the list as we make our way down to the, where you are. But this isn't the time to get mad at me if you don't like something I had to say. This isn't the time to randomly be shouting things out because you don't like the thing that came up. We are generally here to try to help you improve your driving, and we definitely want to, and I definitely want to hear your opinion, and you're a good and wonderful person. But just take everything that we say as constructive feedback. I'm not trying to personally attack you. I'm trying to help you drive better. So these debriefs have been eternally very valuable because we have lots of racing experience that we're trying to impart onto you, and it also will help for you to hear from the other racers in the group that they have experienced similar things to you. So you will screw up things that we have screwed up, and other people will screw up in the future. We all will screw something up. No one feels bad. You shouldn't feel ashamed about it. If you think it's something you want us to look at, throw it in the list. There's literally, I will have never seen any worse driving than what I'm gonna see, right? So you'll be fine. All right, so that'll be okay. All right, I gotta make a quick PSA about volunteers. As you guys probably realized, I can't do all this by myself, and fortunately I have a good team of volunteers that have been here to help carry the load of making this happen every single week. So I'm eternally grateful for all of their effort. If you are getting benefit out of this league and you are feeling some sort of way and you want to volunteer in some way and you don't know how, reach out to me, reach out to Richard, reach out to Elliot, say, hey, I want to help. We have a volunteer chat that I throw people in so I can kind of get their input and advice about things as things are going. As a general rule of thumb, as kind of the group leader, typically what I will do is I will keep a lot of those discussions out of the general peanut gallery until like an idea has shaped or formed. And then once that idea has kind of come to like 80% fruition, I will ask the general public, like, hey, what do you guys think? So that it's just not this random ass thing, right? So if you want to be involved in the volunteer activities in the background, happy to put you in there. Some folks have particular superpowers that they want to volunteer to do, like they're good at graphic design or web design, or they're good with Discord management or delivery stuff, and we had that going on. And I will put them in particular roles to get those things coordinated, or they'd like to help to coordinate specific type of events, like our endurance races and other things like that. I will have them coordinate and do that. I totally understand this is a volunteer activity. I totally understand we have limited time. I am not your boss. I am your friend. I understand you have limited hours. I'm not going to give you anything to do that you couldn't commit to do. The only thing that I ask for you to do is just let me know when you are available and can commit to things, and I will never get bad when you can't commit to things, just as long as you let me know that you can't, and we will figure out a way to work around it, right? So, cool. On the other hand, if you're feeling some sort of way and volunteering isn't your thing and you definitely want to help us out, we have a swag store. So hats, jackets, notebooks, mugs, beanies, little armbands, stickers, all that money goes into the running of the league. So like maintaining of servers, maintaining of awards. When people have weddings, we get them gifts. When people have birthday parties, we get them gifts. When people have had like babies and kids, we get them gifts. All that money is separate from like my personal funds, so I don't touch any of that. It's actually managed in a completely separate account by different separate people, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You're not paying to like give Davin money, right? But it also helps to give us funds to be able to do activities. So if you're feeling some sort of way and you want to participate and you don't have a lot of time, or you're just like not the volunteering type, there's always donations or buying swag. Swag also helps because it helps us market the league, you know how the world works. So the more people who see stuff about the stuff we're doing, the happier we will be. All right. One last thing before I get started. It is a technical thing just for funsies. Servers take time to do server things. So when we are trying to get a server spun up, for example, even though it says it's starting at 7:30, it typically starts at like 7:33 because it's got to provision and do all those other fun things. So please be patient right when the server gets started. We didn't forget to turn it on. It just takes a while for the gerbils to do gerbil things, and then things will get rolling after that. Traditionally, somebody in a voice channel will say like the server is up so that you know, but no sense in bugging us between like 7:30 and 7:33 because there's nothing we can do. But does anyone have any general questions of anything that we should have covered in the chat, Elliot or Richard?
Haven't seen it yet.
Hey, that's great. So either I did a great job or everyone hates it. Either way, we're done now. I will be in iRacing Voice if you guys have other questions. I highly appreciate you guys showing up. This is a really great turnout for a Monday afternoon. I hope you guys have a really great time. I hope you guys have some really great battles. I hope you guys learn a lot and pick up something for your driving by the end of the night. But have fun, be adults. I'll talk to you later.